man, you try to like do your posts online and all the demonic attacks happen. It's ridiculous. Just non-stop barrage against my thoughts and like composition. I've been sitting here praying for like an hour against everything that's coming at me. It's nuts. Yeah. It was like, play video games, do something else, think about something else. And it's just like, it's like, all right, I'm gonna sit here and pray until everything cools down and I get to do what I want. Proverbs 18. And we like Proverbs because Proverbs is like a martial art for socialization, for spirituality. It protects you. It makes you kind of immune to a lot of problems in life. It helps society go forward. It helps you build riches. It helps those riches promote themselves into the future. It's very much the core of kind of who God is. Because remember it says, like, when God created the universe, I was there. And I is wisdom. My laundry's done. So Proverbs 18. One who isolates himself pursues selfish desire if he rebels against all self-wisdom. Yeah, so someone who tries to kind of go away on their own, and that doesn't mean someone who like wants to be alone. You can want to be alone or just kind of be someone who enjoys quiet. But if you're moving yourself away from wisdom, then that's a problem. A fool does not delight in understanding, but only wants to show off his opinions. So we're going back to kind of what the fool is all about. Fools are very tricky. You see them a lot when people argue politics. And politics is tricky because most of the people who argue don't have a lot of information or a lot of education, and so that makes it difficult. You have to establish what you're arguing about. And a lot of people just kind of shout. But then there's fools who will say things like, oh, if the baby's not going to have a good life, I don't want to bring it to the world. And it's like, that's not how this works. Like, you don't get to murder people from kindness. And so that's a good example of how fools argue. They'll kind of make things up and they'll get real loud and real pushy to make you back down without ever actually arguing the point. One actress said, to have an abortion can be a mercy. And I thought that was the most evil thing I'd ever heard. When a wicked person comes, contempt also comes, and along with dishonor, derision. What's derision? Hang on. Okay, derision means mockery or ridicule. When a wicked person comes, contempt also comes. We've all seen that. And along with dishonor, we've seen that, derision, so breaking. And that's one of the ways fools argue, is they'll kind of break up your support network. Usually you'll see them like put you down or put down your friends. And that's a bad way to win. The words of a person's mouth are deep waters. Okay, right? God created the universe by speaking. And then a lot of Bible verse talks about the flowing river of the Spirit, right? God pours out his Spirit, his love to us, so we always feel full. a flowing river, a fountain of wisdom. So here we're seeing what you can contribute to reality and what you can contribute to others. It is not good to show partiality to the guilty, denying the innocent person justice. And so here the Bible's laying down fundamentals in case you're foolish, in case you're young and new. It wants you to know what's going on. And so it's saying these things as a matter of fact, like this is reality, this is true, this is how life works. A fool's lips lead to strife. This is true too. And his mouth provokes a beating. So you're going to say, so the first part is, this is what happens when fools are around. It just messes everything up. And his mouth provokes a beating. So you have no self-control when you're a fool. You don't know how to quit. You don't know when to quit. You're bad at seeing what's going on. And so that ends up with you getting hurt because you don't know how to quit. A fool's mouth is his devastation, and his lips are a trap for his life. And so we've seen this. If you follow a lot of political videos, we see people just rambling nonstop, and they'll kind of just chat in hopes to have a victory. They're not winning on reason or logic. And in a debate, I'm not saying that either side always knows what they're talking about, but you can definitely see who the fool is. One person's trying, and one person might be wrong, but but then you see another person just rambling and making arrogant, kind of airheaded statements that don't go anywhere and have nothing to do with reality. So a fool's mouth is his devastation, and his lips are a trap for his life. And you've seen this. I've seen videos where someone will complain, oh, I can't find a job. And the guy he's talking to will say like, oh, I'll give you a job. And then he'll say, well, let me think about it. And it's like, okay, you're a fool. You're not taking this seriously. You're not taking your life seriously. You're not moving seriously. I've had friends who say like, oh, no girl likes me. No one wants to talk to me. And I'll say, well, you don't know that because you don't go outside. All you do is play video games. You're not engaging anything. You're not engaging with anywhere where there are people. You're not pursuing your own dreams even. Oh, well, I don't have the money. Okay, yeah, you don't have money because you're eating out 3 times a week and you're drinking 3 times a week and you just bought 3 new video games. Like, you have money, but you're not spending it wisely. And then you're ordering pizza. You're not cooking. There's all your money. Go hang out with people around things you want to do. Have you prayed to meet a girl? Oh, well, I don't know if that's going to work. Okay, you know what? You're just a mountain of excuses, and I'm done with you. Well, life's not fair. No, you're just lazy. And you want to whine, and you want to bring me down with you. I'm not going down there with you because you're being pathetic. The gossip words are like choice food that goes down to one's inmost being. So gossip is really appealing, and you have to be careful because like it's kind of like sexy. It's you want to know what the gossip is, what's going on, but it's bad. Gossip isn't good. God doesn't like gossip. I think the Apostle Paul calls gossip demonic. Let me look that one up. Okay, in James chapter 3, 15 through 16, it says, "This is not the wisdom that comes down from above, but but is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder and every vile practice." Where was I? Yeah, so be careful about gossip. It's not good. We don't want to just spend our lives avoiding sin, avoiding, and for those of you that are new, sin is things where you turn away from God. Sin is something I kind of only talk about with people who are comfortable in Christianity. They understand it. They understand what God wants. Sin is moving away from God's dictations, God's celebrations, God's demands, right? In the Garden of Eden, he just said, you can eat from any tree, don't eat from that one. And so sin was, I'm going to go eat from that one. I'm going to disobey. But anyways, we don't want to just not do what God doesn't like. We want to drive our lives towards his perfection, which ultimately unlocks a lot more freedom. God's going to bless you and create freedoms for you, create good things, challenges, joys, gifts, riches. The one who is lazy in his work is brother to a vandal. And we've seen that. We've seen lazy, lethargic people, and everyone else has to like pick up the slack for them. They're always going to have excuses. It's saying when you're being lazy, you're that close to being just a taker on society. So don't be lazy. Like, contribute. Do your share. When there's work to be done and this work is on you to do it, go get it done. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, right? So it's well built, it's strong. It lets you could use towers to purvey the area to make sure there was no one like coming and sneaking up on you. The righteous run to it and are protected. That's kind of cool. Kind of has a Lord of the Rings sort of. Am I losing my voice now? Jesus. I told you the demonic were after me today. The wealth of the rich is fortified. The wealth of the rich is his fortified city. In his imagination, it is like a high wall. Huh. Oh, so they're comparing it. So, let me check on this one. Okay, so, the wealth can solve a lot of problems, but it's not the same thing as God. Only God can truly protect against everything, especially since God can see outside of time. So God can protect what's coming because he can see it, and in his infinite power, deal with it in a fantastic way. Whereas the rich will think, I have richnesses, and it does largely make you immune from a lot of things that you can think of. But life is really dynamic, and a lot of things can come at you that you don't think of. Okay, so 12. Before his downfall, a person's heart is proud, but humility comes before honor. So it said this earlier, the way to have honor is through humility. Oh my gosh. It feels like these spirits are attacking my ears. Dear Lord. Before his downfall, a person's heart is proud, but humility comes before honor. Yeah, so if you want to have honor, you need to be humble. Humble means you listen, you're kind, you don't brag, you're gentle. Like, you can still be a force when you need to be, like a soldier. A soldier has to be a soldier when he's called to be a soldier. But humbleness is about like protecting yourself from pride, from arrogance. The one who gives an answer before he listens This is foolishness and a disgrace for him. Yes, you're just like a blabbermouth. You're just talking over everyone. You're not paying attention. So the Bible's saying it's not smart. It's going to make you look socially ugly, and it's going to make you a problem socially. 14, a person's spirit can endure sickness, but who can survive a broken spirit? Yeah, it's true. A broken spirit is a horrible thing. It's an awful thing. It hurts. So make sure you're attentive to God. Make sure you're attentive, in your prayers. Make sure you're attentive in righteousness, because when your spirit gets broken, it is a terrible, horrible thing that hurts. The mind of a discerning spirit, the mind of the discerning acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks it. Yeah. So if you're a wise person, you're going to listen for the discerning, people who are really good about sifting through and finding information that's of quality. And then you gain knowledge, and knowledge helps with your cultivation of life. Growing. Obviously, in the future where we live, we can gain knowledge really quickly, really easily, but it's still good to have that exceptional knowledge. This knowledge helps you build towards life. A person's gift opens doors for him and brings him before the great. So giving gifts is a wonderful thing. Giving thoughtful gifts is even better thing. And then giving thoughtful gifts by somebody who is like you, who is trying to be wise and work with God, even better. And I can tell you this is true. When I give people gifts, it'll oftentimes moves them in spectacular ways. When I was in high school, the people I was around, we were very mature and grown up. We were calm. We didn't make perverted jokes all the time. We were smart. And I would meet girls from the richer schools, and they would tell me how they cried making friends with my friends, how it was so nice to be around people who weren't perverted, who weren't cussing all the time, who were genuine, who had good clean parties where people just had fun and nobody was complaining or bitching or drinking all the time and doing drugs. And I was like, whoa, I didn't realize that just being Christian opened up so many doors and opened up the hearts to so many people. So that was kind of interesting. Okay, 17. The first to state his case seems right until another cross-examines him. So this is like in court. If you get haughty and prideful, you're like, oh, I'm just going to go to the courts and I'm going to say it, and they're going to be eating out of my hand. They're going to be believing everything I say, and it's going to seem like that. And then the other side is going to talk, and you're not going to look so good. Okay, I'll make a new video file. Okay, Proverbs 18:18. Casting the lot ends quarrels and separates powerful opponents. This was kind of when Adam and Eve ate the fruit that they weren't supposed to eat, it ruined reality. And since then, God is bringing reality back towards his perfection, like a vortex. That's why we used to have multiple wives, back to one. In America, we used to duel to kill each other when there was a big fight. We got rid of that because that wasn't Christian. And so one of the things they used to do is kind of what's called casting lots. Kind of like throwing dice, but different. And they would do this to kind of see what God wanted. They'd say, God, let this dice we're throwing land in a way that tells us what you want. And so what the mature way of looking at this is go to God and pray, and he'll give you answers. Especially since Jesus came and now we get to be possessed by the Holy Spirit, we're a lot closer to God than before. We're literally possessed by him. And because Jesus died, God looks at us as if we've never sinned. So we have a lot of umph now with God because of Christ, because of the Christ. So it's really good to come to God and talk to God and pray to God, because he can end conflicts before they start, which means you don't lose lives, you don't lose money. Okay, Proverbs 18:19. An offended brother is harder to reach than a fortified city, and quarrels are like bars of a fortress. So it's saying, do your best to reconcile before things become awful. Both of you should do your best to have good communication. When you're righteous and you have good communication and you don't lose your temper and you don't lose your mind, you won't have these problems that you don't want to have. Okay, Proverbs 18:20. From the fruit of a person's mouth, his stomach is satisfied, but he is filled with the product of his lips. He is filled with the product of his lips. So fruitfulness, right? The end results of what you've done, by what you've spoken, by who you are. Because you're living in righteousness, because you're working hard, because you're staying true, the things you do and the communication you have yields authenticity and yields a lot. It brings fruitfulness, it brings things to your life. And so it's good and satisfying. Okay, Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. What? Oh, okay. So those who move towards death, you're going to result in horrible things. And those who love life, you're going to result in great things. So we're kind of seeing the split of the path here. Where are you going to go? Well, what do you like? Do you like corruption? Probably going to end up there, and your life is going to be miserable, and you might be too stupid to see it. What do you like? Well, I like life. Well, your life's going to be great, and if you're working with the Bible especially, you're going to find all these wonderful things, and your life will be made better. The poor person pleads, but the rich one answers roughly. What does that mean? Okay, okay, so the poor plead for mercy, but the rich answer harshly. What I've found that I kind of like, and it seems to fit, is the reality of reality. When you're poor, you have to plead for mercy. You have little power, you have to be humble, careful, and you might end up desperate in a lot of times. I remember the book of Proverbs has been telling you how to get rich, how to stay away from that, how to be rich. With family, with grandkids, with business, with marriage, with life, you stay away from these things that pull it away, that take it away, that drum it away. Okay, and then we're at the rich. Those with power or wealth often speak bluntly, proudly, or without compassion because they feel secure. There's kind of a third thing that goes in the middle. We work with heaven, we work with wisdom, and things are going to work well. Okay, what else do we got? One with many friends may be harmed, but there is a friend who stays closer than a brother. So you might have a lot of friends, but that just because you have a lot of friends doesn't mean you're safer. Be on the lookout for those friends that are closer than a brother. And that is Proverbs 18. I should really do the fun verse, but I'm under so much like attack right now that I need to go and pray against that and figure out if God's trying to course correct me. There's always a lot of demonic attacks during Christmas and New Year's, but I'm going to go talk to God and see if he wants me to course correct at all. Love you guys. Happy New Year.